Hello, nice to see you all from this place. Few years ago, I asked our national rank athlete following question: what would it be like if you didn't have to prove to anyone, not even to yourself, that you are enough? And his reply was, then I would sleep all night. He was 15. And although this story may sound a little bit scary for someone, it's not a unique story, because I can see, like many of us, do our best to prove to the world and to ourselves that we deserve our place on earth. We strive to build lives which are meant to be proof of our value, or we seek it in personal development, in spirituality. We overthink things, we overdo things, we try to solve all the problems, so we show to the world that we are enough. It feels like if we are lacking something, but not always, because sometimes we just enjoy ourselves, others, and life. So it's interesting to see and to listen what is really happening here. Is inside us some gap which needs to be filled or not? Joe Gardner, the main character of the animated movie The Soul, was a jazz pianist who devoted his life to music, and he did his best. He's doing his best to achieve a recognition or success as a musician. But after an unaccepted fall, he ends up in a place where souls find their basic characteristics. This space is called the Great Before. And there he meets number 22. It's the name of the soul, which was, until that point, not allowed to go to Earth because it hasn't found its spark. So the soul, number 22, has a badge like this. And there is one missing part. And this missing part is called spark. So Joe's task is to help number 22 find its spark so it can go to Earth and live the life on Earth. So they go through various life lessons and activities, but nothing seems to be working. Nothing seems to be significant enough to reveal the one big thing which would make the soul number 22 fulfilled. But after a time, the badge changes and it looks like this. It means number 22 has a permission to go to Earth. It means it has found its spark, but they don't know what happened because it's not related to any activity. And finally they realize what ignited the spark. And it was when number 22 recognized the beauty in ordinary things, in eating pizza, in feeling the sun on its face, in children's laughter. In the climax of the story, Joe understands that although he was seeking fulfillment, his value or spark, in something, the spark is being ignited by recognizing that life is perfect as it is. I have an invitation for you, invitation for exploration. Because this story points us to the possibility that really we can find the beauty of wholeness in every moment. And for this exploration, you will need only one tool, and maybe you heard this already today. It's called listening. And we will listen to our own direct experience. What does it mean, listening to our own direct experience? Maybe you noticed how our minds are busy labeling things. Chairs, stage, speaker, lights, good, bad, nice, ugly. This thought is positive, this thought is negative. This feeling is called stress, and so on. But then what happens is that what we perceive is not a thing itself, but our thinking. I will give you an example. Let's pretend we are having a nice walk outside, and above us is a night full of stars. And I will point to 7 stars and will tell you, look there, there is a constellation called Big Dipper. And suddenly, all other stars fade away, and those 7 stars come to foreground. This is how Big Dipper is being created, because there is no constellation Big Dipper on its own. Thought created the impression of an image we call Big Dipper. I will share a story 3, 4, 5 years ago when our daughter, by the way, the creator of this badge, was 3 years old. And I was frustrated almost every evening because she didn't clean up her toys after herself. Me and my wife had nowhere to step. And my idea, my preconception, was that she should. After all, if she doesn't learn it now, then when? Okay. What I want to emphasize is that I didn't feel good, but I didn't know what to do. But one evening I was watching a YouTube clip, and I've heard the sentence, everyone is doing the best they can. And I know you heard it before, probably. I had too. But that time I heard it differently, because all my preconceptions about how our daughter should be melted away, and I saw how wonderful she already is, and always was, and how many things she managed to learn in short time spent on this earth. But above all, I felt love and huge gratitude that I can feel the love towards my daughter. That's the power of thought, power of labeling. It can create a virtual wall, distance between me and my daughter, and cover the love. So it made me wonder, okay, Lukáš, so what is true before you start think anything? Because if we really want to know something, we have to put aside all the labels we have about it, all the thinking. So here is my invitation. Right now, if you want, you can close your eyes. Put aside all your thinking you have about what is happening right now. Put aside all your thinking you have about yourself. What can you say about now when you don't think about it? Is there missing something? If not, can we call it perfection? Where does this perfection come from? Because as you can see, it's not a product of thinking. It's just how life always is. You can open your eyes and just feel that nothing changed. It's still here. It's like, imagine you are wearing glasses through which you can't see very well. So you start swapping glasses, different pairs, one for another. Some make it worse. With some, it's the same. Some even make it better. But it's still not quite right. But in one moment you take off glasses and you are astonished because you realize that you see clearly without them, that your vision is and always was perfect. But until we don't recognize this, it makes sense to keep swapping glasses. Until we don't recognize the perfection underneath all the thinking, it makes sense to swap one belief for another, one label for another. But the perfection you may recognize before was not a product of belief, of thinking. I didn't give you another belief. The fact that I was able to recognize wonder of our daughter was not the result of thinking. It was the result of recognition of ever-present perfection. And let's take one step further. Why? Because many people, including me, have an experience that it's easy to recognize perfection when there are no labels, but when labels are present, we think that perfection has been lost. So for example, if we feel that we are lacking something, we assume that perfection has gone. But if life in its perfection is always present, it must be contained within the feeling of lack. Okay? So how can we recognize perfection even in the feeling of lack? And I once heard Marina Galan saying that when you throw a stick, the dogs runs after it, but lion looks to see where was the stick thrown from. He looks to the source of the stick. And we often approach our feelings and thoughts like dogs. We grab them, we manipulate them, we try to do something with them, we try to change them, to take them with us, even though we don't like them. But what would be the lion's approach? Slowing down and recognizing, okay, but what is the source of the feeling? As feeling of lack, as any other feeling comes and goes, its source must be something that is ever present. Life in its perfection. Seeking of our value in any form, spirituality, personal development, status, financial stability, is just a symptom of not recognizing perfection in what is. And to conclude my speech, I would like to share with you the lyrics of the song Wonderful Life from the, again, animated movie called Smallfoot. Take a look around and see the world we think we know. Then look closer. There is more to life than meets the eye. Beauty to behold. It's all much bigger than we know. For me to listen means to allow ourselves to hear, to see, to feel how life always is. Perfect. Nothing missing. Life is not beautiful, life is beauty. And I have a question for you. What would it be like if you didn't have to prove to anyone, not even to yourself, that you are enough? Thank you very much.